The allure to British Columbia has kind of been this rugged and sort of raw feeling that you find in the mountains that I almost feel like is kind of lost here in the United States. A lot of times, even mountains like Snowbird and Alta, you feel safe, you feel like you're still a part of a mountain or a resort, but the few times I've been up into British Columbia, there's just sort of like this sense of controlled recklessness and almost like just sort of this feeling of just general lawlessness. I flew up to Calgary International Airport from Salt Lake City with my dad, Papa Joe, and my oldest sister, Natalie, for about a 3-day ski trip up in the interior of British Columbia. We stayed in the relatively quiet and small ski town of Golden, British Columbia, which is basically the bottom of Kicking Horse Mountain Resort, with the intention of skiing Kicking Horse Mountain 2 days and traveling a little bit more western to check out Revelstoke for 1 day. It feels like Kicking Horse almost is exclusively advanced and expert level terrain, and perhaps one of the coolest things about it is just the amount of vertical you can get from the very top of the mountain down to the base. I think you have over 4,000 feet of vertical from the very top to the bottom, which just creates an awesome, really ski-orientated mountain that doesn't really have a lot of frills, doesn't really have a lot of the amenities that you might expect at typical mountain resorts, but it's just kind of there for one reason only, and that's to sort of conquer some gnarly terrain, push yourself both mentally, physically, and just enjoy a beautiful time up there in the mountains. Conditions, you know, on the word of the street are kind of marginal. It's been a lot of rain recently. There's a little snow last night, but yeah, not exactly sure what to expect, but this is a very, very gnarly mountain. The terrain is no joke here, and lots of vertical, about 4,000 feet of vertical in one run. So stuff can change from the top to the bottom, from visibility to snow conditions to all that. So I am on my 116 JJs. I only brought my 116 JJs or my 116 White Walker. Basically I have a groomer 116 and a powder 116. So that's the deal. We're just gonna, we're gonna try to see what we can get ourselves into. Oh, geez Louise. That's
definitely a nice top layer.
How's it look over there? I think it's probably our best bet without going over to like the groomer.
Yeah, those chokes are crazy chokes.
Yeah. Was it pretty crusty?
Yeah, the snow is really quite good. I wouldn't get too worried about it. I was just a little intimidated, but it's good.
Copy. It's a little bit hard to see.
That was better than we thought.
Yeah, not awful.
First one I've skied in 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, it's in a warm-up run.
One of my most favorite aspects of a mountain is being able to take a lift up to the top and being able to ski some gnarly stuff right away. One of the mountains that really comes to mind is Snowbird. Being able to take the tram up and essentially dropping into a great scat or anything off the cirque right away is really, really cool. And Kicking Horse has that exact same feel. As soon as you get off the gondola, you basically walk across the platform and you're standing atop some pretty steep double black type of chutes and terrain, and you kind of have access to the entire CPR ridge right from the top. So it kind of creates this sense of lappability, but also easily refines your skill because you're constantly being thrown into some very tough terrain where you're not dealing with a lot of extra fluff. It's just kind of one after the other you're right up there in some pretty steep 40-degree pitches, which are just really, really rad for resort skiing.
You can see there's some big knob right there. You know, it's ridiculous, isn't it? Oh, good.
I mean, you're pretty good. I'd say what you see is what you get. Just be careful pushing left, but it is still skiable.
Okay, like, Lucas, all those little tree hits are bigger than you think, aren't they?
Yeah, I could.
That's smelling better over there.
I could tell it was bigger than you thought it was gonna be, because I could see the bottom of it.
The first day on skis for this trip, we really just stuck to the two primary ridges of CPR Ridge and Redemption Ridge. Off these ridges are just a host of different chutes, and it's kind of like proceed at your own risk, it feels like. If you can take it, if you can drop it, it's kind of open to ski. There are designated areas and zones and stuff, but for the most part, these two ridges, which makes for a really fun lap of going up the gondola, down CPR Ridge, up the chairlift and down Redemption Ridge, just really hosts a bunch of different chutes. So we spent most of this first day just knocking off little chutes along the way as we kind of traversed ourselves over the ridge and ultimately back down to the base. With this sort of CPR to Redemption Ridge lap, it took us quite literally a full hour to do one full sort of revolution. And so by the time, you ski 4 or 5 hours, you've done almost 20,000 feet of vertical, and it just feels like, you've only done 4 or 5 laps, but the amount of skiing you get in a single lap is really awesome from a skiing perspective.
Is this a cliff that's underneath me? And like these little bumps, right where Nat is.
No, but it's got these kind of like wonky little, like 3 big clumps. Like, I don't know what they are, but like frozen clumps.
But I could kind of ski right off them.
I don't think I would off the top because I feel like you would just stuff it into them.
Do you see anything cool from the bottom?
I think I would come down and push right and go through the lower tree line to your right. Like I would hug the wall to your right once you come down, and I'd wrap a high right. It's steeper and it's got into that lower tree line.
Okay. Tell me when to push hard right, I guess, and let me know if there's any cliffs. Can I not go in right here?
A nice drop if you do. You can go in there. Then go hard right or below you when I tell you.
That was sweet.
That's nice.
That's what I was saying. Right where those trees are, you could kind of blow through those trees.
With kind of all the talk from, you know, the internet and even local people right at Kicking Horse, I was pleasantly surprised with the conditions. I think if we didn't get a little dusting of snow, the conditions would be pretty tough because it was very firm underneath. You could definitely tell temperatures warmed up and the bottom sort of froze and just created this really, really hard layer underneath. But with the new snow, it's honestly made it pretty enjoyable to ski. So with day one in the books, we then look to continue heading west to Revelstoke Mountain Resort for day number 2.
You can see it's snowing. I don't think we've seen the sun since we've been here. It's very wet snow, I will say. Down here it's right around 32 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 degrees Celsius, but I think once we get up to the top of the mountain, it should be pretty good. Reported 6 centimeters overnight. We are actually staying in Golden, British Columbia, which is about 2 hours east of Revelstoke, right where Kicking Horse is. So we drove this morning, and it's interesting, you actually enter the Pacific time zone. So you kind of gain an hour, which kind of makes the drive here a little bit easier, but obviously we'll lose it on the way back. But only brought 116s on this trip, so that's what I got to rock, but I'm going to use the White Walkers today.
Good deal today. Hopefully gonna be some freshies on the recovery at the Revelstoke. Looking for some little dust on crust. Give our White Walker 116s a run. Another good day on the mountain, that's the way I look at it. Thanks, Bigger.
Revelstoke is another one of those mountains that I think just really challenges you as a skier, no matter like what your ability level is. It just, the type of terrain, the amount of terrain, is just sort of this vastness that kind of has different levels to it, that you can kind of go as gnarly as you want. You know, I think it's a little bit different than Kicking Horse in several regards, but the amount of vertical you get, I think it's like over 5,500 feet of vertical. I think it's the most vertical drop in North America. So just the size of the mountain and sort of the difference from the base to the top is really cool. And it's definitely one of those mountains that I think you could spend an entire season at and still not really have skied and explored every ounce of terrain and the different lines that you can at Revelstoke.
are you taking a family pic? I don't think it's on though, is it?
It's on.
Yep.
There you go. Not bad.
Woo! Now the layout of Revelstoke is quite interesting. It almost, looking at a map, it almost looks kind of small, even though the vertical drop is big. There's really one main chair that a lot of the terrain runs off of, and that's the Stoke chair. And off the Stoke chair, you can kind of drop into what's called like a lower North Bowl, or you can kind of traverse around and have like this mini little hike that kind of brings you back and around the ridge to like what then opens up to just sort of like this playground of almost like this backcountry feeling type of terrain. There's really no like true trail signs, it feels like. There's tons of cliffs and trees and just, again, sort of this feeling of lawlessness and sort of like just sort of play at your own risk type feeling that I think makes Revelstoke very cool and have this sort of unlimited feeling to it while you're skiing. Although we were getting some really nice dry blower snow up top, the visibility was certainly tough. And it may not look like it all the time in the video, but just sometimes deciphering from sort of the white sort of low vis fog stuff to like the different undulations in the snow is what makes the visibility hard. It wasn't necessarily that the vis wasn't like very far out, but it was just sometimes hard to see how big a cliff was or what was sort of over this roller. So when we were up at the top, it was a little bit more tentative until we could get more down into the trees where we had a little bit more contrast to see.
Oh shit.
Yeah, careful here.
But that, Lucas,
I know.
look at that. Ned, heads up. Oh.
I just hit the tree spur. You didn't see.
Yeah, no, I know, because you got to tell me. But I was looking at that. I don't know how big of a hole that is. You know?
Oh, it kind of looks flat, doesn't it?
Yeah. But maybe not right off the hold. Maybe not right off the tip.
That was sick.
Woo! Vegas, you can hit it. Give it up. See, this is the snow is great.
It snowed on us all day long, and I think by the end of the little storm, they had about 14 centimeters of snow, which is about 6 inches. So I think without that sort of fresh, soft, layer or dusting of snow, conditions would have been a whole lot different. Again, it had that similar, very firm base underneath, but the nice light sort of fluffy snow at the top was really enjoyable to ski. Now, when you skied all the way down to the base, it was almost like you were kind of getting rained on and you were like skiing through very sticky slush. So wouldn't necessarily recommend skiing anywhere other than the top there, but playing around up at the North Pole with that snow like was really, really solid. So for the last day of the trip, we ended up heading back towards Golden to for arguably our best day ever at Kicking Horse Mountain Resort. The third and final day was actually calling for clear skies, but when we woke up, we kind of had this super low fog layer, super low cloud layer that we were kind of like, well, you know, we are in BC, we haven't seen the sun all weekend, so we're just gonna kind of roll with it. But we were kind of optimistic that it would clear up, and we were just sort of excited to get back to a mountain, to have a little bit more familiarity, and hopefully ski some new terrain and new lines. We headed back over the Kicking Horse River and across this sort of like iconic one-lane bridge to get up to Kicking Horse Mountain. It's like to have a one-lane bridge that access such an incredible mountain. It's just sort of like the irony and sort of the contradiction to some of these mountains here in Little Cottonwood Canyon. Like, it's just kind of a really cool thing that fits this sort of vibe of BC and the general lawlessness and recklessness of the area.
I don't know how much snow they got kind of yesterday, if any. We're just gonna see what we can get up to, maybe get into some different terrain, some newer terrain. However, there is some very heavy clouds, some very sort of low fog maybe. So we're gonna see kind of how Viz is up at the top and kind of adjust from there. But really enjoy this mountain. It's really sort of one that rewards precision and sort of good technical skiing, but also has sort of a lot of variety throughout the vertical range. So I lost my Epic Pass, so I think I need to find a way to get another Epic Pass. I don't know how I lost it, but I don't have an Epic Pass.
Kicking Horse doesn't have RFID technology, which is what allows the ticket scanner to scan through your coat. So we had to take our passes out of our coat every time, and I think that's how I ended up losing my Epic Pass. I think I was gonna put it in a pocket or something and just whatever. I got back to the Airbnb and I didn't have my Epic Pass. So luckily I was able to just go down to the ticket office, whatever, filed a sort of lost pass thing. They gave me a little day ticket for the day. So didn't have any problems there, but yeah, my Epic Pass is lost somewhere in the mountains of British Columbia. But once we got on the gondola, we were sitting with two locals and they said it was sunny at the top. We were kind of like, okay, like we can't even see our hand in front of our face, it feels like. But as we kind of went up the 4,000 feet of vertical, we slowly came out of the clouds to just a beautiful bluebird day with this incredible cloud inversion below us.
It's really not bad.
Because we had clear weather and just all around a lot better visibility, we wanted to hike the stairway to heaven, which I'm a little bit sort of like to call it a hike. It's very, very easy, kind of just up a short staircase, but it brings you to this really cool zone called the White Wall. And it's quite literally just like a head wall of some 40-degree pitches with different rocks and cliffs in there. But we were kind of excited to have a different zone to tackle, to incorporate into our CPR and Redemption Ridge sort of route. Now, the struggle with this zone that likely isn't gonna come across on video is just how blind a lot of the areas were. You could basically just see the top sort of eighth of the run, and then it kind of just went to like this blind rollover, and you weren't sure if that was a cliff or, you know, just sort of like a rollover of snow. But when you're standing up there, you can't see what's below you. And so being kind of brand new to this zone, it just sort of created this sense of trepidation, and just like we needed to get down underneath it, look up at it and see exactly what we were working with. So Papa Joe was actually the guinea pig, and he sort of followed a line down and then kind of went down to the bottom where he could then spot for my sister and I up top, so we could sort of navigate a little bit more gnarly stuff and not be afraid of kind of coming over a 30 or 40 foot cliff band where we'd get ourselves in some trouble. So kind of a technical zone, but very, very fun once you kind of understood where you were at.
Oh, really looks good here.
Pretty steep. Fuck.
Yeah. No, I know. I think we should go keep down a little bit farther out where less people are down. I think this one here for now. Okay. You okay? It's all good. All good, buddy. I'm all the way down.
You want to go out more so you can see us at the top?
Sure.
Nice little drops too.
So can we go to our right, or is it only kind of where you went? What does it look like kind of around us?
You can go left and right of where I went, because I kind of did once I got in it. It's just those big knobs are actual rock cliff bands.
But left or right of them is skiable. The big knob to your right, kind of high right, that's got a sweet angled couloir right down through it with untracked snow.
All right, you're gonna try to go to the skier's right of that big knob, and then you'll see an angled couleur. It's gonna be beautiful.
Drop there, drop there.
Okay, dropping.
Left, left, left. Straight down now. Yep, right down.
Oh, that was sick. Oh, wow. Wow.
That's legit.
Dude, that was,
Dude, I hit you.
that was a good few
Yeah,
rounds.
I had you.
But that was,
Now, okay, now see the dark guy up there, the man walking in the
Yeah.
black. See the big knob.
oh yeah. That's,
Okay, to the knob. You went
Yeah,
to
through there.
the skier's right of that knob, and then you came down when I said 4 o'clock, and then you came right down that couleur at an angle, and then right straight down at us. You nailed it perfect. Was it pretty gnarly?
It was gnarly. I mean,
Yeah.
it's always,
But the snow was good, wasn't it?
I thought it was really good.
Yeah, because I don't think anyone was in there.
No, it was untracked.
Yeah.
Man, it's way tighter than it looks.
Yeah.
I think we ended up doing about 4 laps here on this white wall area. The snow was really good. The terrain was just a lot of fun, and it was just a fun experience, sort of all working together as a team to sort of tackle our own little lines down this zone. Also, it's a huge confidence booster. Once you see the zone from the bottom, you just kind of have a sense of like knowing where the dangers are, and I just felt a little bit more comfortable with knowing that there are cliffs and stuff like that, but as long as you sort of stay in certain areas, you should be okay. So the second lap, I went down first so I could sort of return the spotting favor to Joe, and I ended up getting myself in this tight little couloir that then sort of funneled down into the wider bowl. But then I was at least able to look up and help Joe work his way down as well.
I was scared, not gonna lie.
I would not recommend what I did. It's skiable, it's just very, very narrow.
Copy that. So should we go more to our left?
I mean, Joe, you're all good kind of right below you. Natalie's pretty, you guys are all really okay. It's just the top chokes.
All right, I'm gonna drop. How was that?
Did you make it through those rocks I exposed?
I thought I ripped it all the way down.
That was good.
Good call. Don't be afraid to talk on the radio. That was good. You nailed me right where you needed to, Lucas.
We really just couldn't get enough of this zone. It was just so accessible. It was really fun. There was still great snow. So I went up for one final run of the trip. There was sort of this boulder field that I saw on the far skiers left of the area that I thought would kind of be a fun way to pick my way down. And so sort of spotted and guided by Joe, I went down for one more rip down White Wall and just had this really fun sort of boulder hopping feeling sort of line all the way down to the bottom of White Wall.
Okay, you're in them there. Drop there and they're to your left.
What is this?
There's nothing below it, but it's pretty big. You can roll over it, though. It's pretty good. Nothing in the landing. And it looks soft. It looks untracked.
I don't know how to turn this off. That was sweet. There's a lot of gravity on there, man.
That whole face is just nuts.
Yeah. No, I had a good line on there, but Nat didn't watch.
I did watch your line. You're so freaking sensitive.
It's truly incredible how much a place like British Columbia and Kicking Horse and Revelstoke not only push my abilities as a skier, but also just make me feel sort of a level up from where I started the trip at. Coming back to a place like Utah and skiing places like Park City and Deer Valley, it's almost like they can't even really hold a candle to the level of technicality, the steepness. And I don't want to say like no fall areas, because it's not like, you know, you're necessarily going to die if you fall, but there's definitely a lot of places up there where you want to make sure you have 2 skis on your feet. You want to be staying on your feet. There's just a whole sort of different level of consequence up there that I think, one, makes me just feel like I'm really skiing and sort of satiates my desire for adrenaline and adventure. But also just refines the sword a little bit more, makes you a little bit sharper of a skier all around. I think there's one thing to just sort of bomb yourself down a chute or a mountain, but there's also sort of an aspect of precision, you know, and being sound with your movements and realizing that every input you have has sort of a calculated output, if that makes sense. So it just really helps you get in tune with yourself as a skier and sort of helps increase your self-awareness when it comes to skiing. So I just really got to give a big thank you to my dad, Joe Catania, for essentially enabling the trip and just being so stoked on stuff like this. His sort of will to live and passion for living is infectious. Thank you to my older sister Natalie for coming along as well. And just yeah, that's kind of it. There's no other, there was no other sponsors or support with this trip, and just really excited to spend time with my family doing an activity that we love the most. So, till next time, BC, I will miss your lawlessness and sort of the reckless but calculated nature that you facilitate. So BC, till next time, see you in the